In this tutorial, I'd like to talk to you about the Midland Rush RCF, the latest intercom from Midland with mesh and Bluetooth technology. If you purchase a Midland intercom, we advise you to do the following. First of all, download the software from our website. Connect the intercom with the charging cable to the software, and make sure you've installed the latest firmware update. The second operation is to carry out Bluetooth pairings, meaning to pair smartphones, sat-nav, motorcycle TFT, or other Bluetooth intercoms. Finally, for devices with mesh technology, thanks to our Midland Connect app, you can configure mesh communication. First, I'll show you Bluetooth pairing. We'll take some examples and pair another Midland intercom to our Rush RCF. With the device turned off, so with neither of the two LEDs flashing, we'll hold the control key for 5 seconds until the red LEDs turn on and don't flash. I now have 3 intercom pairings available. The first pairing, the main pairing, is on the down key. I hold the key for about 2 or 3 seconds until I see the LED flashing red and blue. Then I double-click the control key to stop it. For the second pairing, I hold the up key for 2 or 3 seconds until I see the other LED flash. I double-click the control key to stop it. For the third pairing, I press and hold the up key, not for 3 seconds, but for 5 seconds. I see the LED stops flashing quickly and flashes more slowly. Good. Now we've seen the 3 key combinations to pair intercoms. Now I'll carry out a first pairing. So I press the main pairing down key, and I take any other Midland intercom and use intercom pairing on the other intercom. On the BTX1 Pro S, I hold the control key for 7 seconds until I see a steady red LED. Now I hold the center key again for another 2 or 3 seconds to get a flashing red and blue LED. The 2 intercoms will pair. Good. Now we'll pair another Midland intercom. The BTR1 Advanced. We hold the control key for 5 seconds until we get a steady red light. Now we can choose one of these 3 keys to pair with the up key of the Midland Rush RCF. We also choose this with the control key. The LED flashes red and blue, and they're paired. We'll finish by pairing a third Midland device, the Midland BT Mini, with the latest firmware update. We hold the up key for a few seconds. The LED starts flashing fast, but we keep holding the key until the LED starts flashing slowly. Now on the BT Mini, we turn on the intercom and select one of the 3 keys to pair. Also with this third intercom, I'll select the control key. Now the third device has also been paired. Next, I'll demonstrate how to pair intercoms of other brands. If I want to pair another intercom on the down key, the up key, or the up key with a long press, since I've already filled my 3 available pairings with 3 Midland intercoms, I'll need to overwrite a previous pairing with the new one, so the new one will replace the old one. To do this, I'll reset the pairings. So in setup mode, with a steady red LED, by holding the volume plus and volume minus for 3 seconds, the blue flashing LED confirms I've reset all Bluetooth pairings, so none of the 3 intercoms previously paired will remain in memory. So we'll start again with a clean configuration. Now we'll see how to pair with a Cardo intercom, so a different brand. Together with Midland, Cardo has implemented a new protocol called OBI, Open Bluetooth Intercom. And thanks to this new protocol, which is available by obtaining the latest firmware update from both brands, the 2 intercoms can be easily paired, as if they were two Midland or two Cardo devices. On the Midland, we start one of the three pairings, down key. We turn on the Cardo and start intercom pairing, also on the Cardo. Good. The two intercoms have paired, and thanks to the OBI protocol, neither will have to sacrifice their phone connection to make this pairing between different brands. And in this way, both the Midland and the Cardo will be able to keep their phone pairings. Finally, I'll show you how to pair an intercom of another brand. For example, a Senna. On the Midland, select once again one of the three pairings, down key with a long press. I hold the up key for 3 seconds until the LED flashes. On the other brand's intercom, which doesn't use OBI protocol, instead of using intercom pairing, we'll need to use phone pairing, and then this intercom will lose the possibility to connect to a phone, unless its functions support two phone connections. And they're paired. So to recap, with the RCF Midland Rush, we have three intercom pairings available. If we need to pair other Midland intercoms, we'll use intercom pairing on both intercoms. If we need to pair a Cardo brand intercom using OBI protocol, we'll use intercom pairing on both devices. However, if we want to pair with the intercom of a different brand, which does not have OBI protocol, such as a Senna or other brands, on the Midland we'll still use one of these three keys, while on the other brand of intercom, instead of intercom pairing, we'll need to use phone pairing. The Midland Rush RCF can pair with two devices, which can be a smartphone, a sat-nav, or a motorcycle Bluetooth dashboard, TFT. To carry out these pairings, with the intercom switched off, I'll enter Setup Mode again and then hold the Control key for about 5 seconds until I get a steady red light. Then I'll rotate the intercom and hold the Volume Plus key for 3 seconds to start pairing to the primary device. The main pairing using the Volume Plus key allows you to exploit both the mono connection and stereo connection of the device being paired, while the second pairing using the Volume Minus key, I hold it for 3 seconds until the LED flashes red and blue, allows you to take advantage of mono audio only. Now we'll run through some examples. If we want to pair a smartphone which we want to exploit both the mono part of the phone calls and the stereo part, which manages the applications like music apps or sat-nav apps, we'll need to pair it with Volume Plus. If we have a second smartphone, for example a work phone, which we only need to use for phone calls, then we'll pair it to the Volume Minus key. So on this phone, we won't be able to use the music function or the sat-nav app function that we'll be able to use with the first phone paired using Volume Plus. But if I receive a call on this phone, I'll be able to answer phone calls and also make calls via voice call. Now we'll look at other examples of possible configurations. Okay, now we'll pair my phone to the Volume Plus key. After that, we'll pair our sat-nav to the Volume Minus key. When the two devices have been paired directly to the intercom, one on Volume Plus and one on Volume Minus, they mustn't also be paired to each other, unless it's a data connection. This means to enable sat-nav to show traffic information, I'll have to use my phone's data connection. But this is not a Bluetooth audio connection. Another way to configure the devices is to cascade them, meaning pair the phone only to the sat-nav or to a TFT display, and then pair only the latter to the main key. So by pairing to the Volume Plus in this configuration, the phone will send audio to the sat-nav or the TFT, and the latter will send the audio to the intercom. So the phone and intercom will not be connected directly, but will have to go through this central device, which will act as the hub. In this cascade configuration, even though the phone is not directly paired with the intercom, it's possible to use the Midland Connect app. There are two different ways to do this, depending on whether you're using an iPhone or an Android phone. With an iPhone, which, just to repeat, will be paired only to the sat-nav or TFT, and only the latter is paired to the intercom, just open the Midland Connect app, find the Midland Rush RCF, and configure it, and you're finished. If, on the other hand, you have an Android phone configuration, it will be slightly more complicated. This means we'll have to carry out a second pairing to the Volume Plus key, to which you'll remember we've already paired the sat-nav or TFT. Then we carry out a second pairing directly to the phone. We'll need to pair the Midland Rush RCF also to the phone, but we'll have to disable all audio, meaning we'll switch off both multimedia audio and mono audio for phone calls. So the phone and the Rush RCF remain paired but without audio. This pairing is necessary only to make our Midland Connect app work. In contrast to what I said before about intercom pairing, when pairing to Volume Plus, you can store two paired devices in the memory. When we then pair a third device, the first device will be overwritten, but two devices can remain stored in the memory. So on the Volume Plus, I've paired a sat-nav or TFT and also paired my smartphone by turning off the audio options, but keeping only the BLE, Bluetooth Low Energy, connection switched on for the app. This way means both will work. Now I'll explain how to configure mesh. There are two options. One is through the intercom buttons, but the method I'll explain now will be through our Midland Connect app. With the intercom switched off, I'll once again hold the control key for 5 seconds until we get a steady red light. We press the Volume Plus key to pair the primary device, and on my phone I'll search for Bluetooth devices. Okay, we've found our Midland. Confirm pairing. Good, now it's paired. We reconfirm the pairing and open the Midland Connect app. We enter the configuration section. We click on the gear icon and choose Mesh, Configuration Mesh. Okay, I'll just put it here for a second. Now also on the other intercom, I'll hold the control key for about 5 seconds with the intercom switched off. Steady red light. I hold the Volume Plus key for 3 seconds until the LED flashes red and blue. On the phone, I go ahead and start Bluetooth searching. I find the Midland Rush RCF. I confirm pairing and open the Midland Connect app. Good. As before, I enter configuration and tap the gear icon. Here I have a series of options: intercom, mesh, phone. I enter mesh. Now we have to ensure 3 things to set up mesh communication. First, we have to be in the same group, and we have 2 of them, one private and one public. The private group setting is for dynamic repeat. The public group setting is for setting up mesh conference. Second, we have to select a unique ID number for each device. And finally, we have to turn on mesh on the intercom. I'll select, for example, private group on both. Private group. We have ID 2 and ID 3. So we have the same group and a different unique ID for each one. And lastly, we'll turn on mesh. To turn on mesh, we have to click on the center button in intercom mode. I'll turn on mesh and I'll see both intercoms flash white. This is confirmation that I'm in the private group setting, meaning dynamic repeat mode. For example, if we change group and enter the public group on both intercoms, okay, we still have different IDs, 2 and 3, but now we're in the public group. The 2 intercoms will still be communicating, and the change of group will be indicated by the light. Now we have a white, and then green, white, and then green. This tells me we're in the public group mode, meaning mesh conference. The last option we have is to stay in a private group, but also to enter a security code, which we have to set. The default code is 12345678. For this example, I'll change the 8. Instead of 8, I'll enter 9 on both. So we've changed the code. Now we're in a secured private group, and if we look at the lights, now they'll be blue and white, blue and white. So if there are any problems communicating, we must first check the bottom LED to see if there is a mesh light, and check that mesh is turned on. And then if I click on this button, I'll have a corresponding voice message, which says mesh on or mesh off. Now on this intercom, mesh is off and the bottom light is not flashing. Now I've turned on mesh and it's flashing. The lights of all group members must be the same. White and blue, white and blue. This means there's a secure code, and it must be the same code entered in the app. Or, if we delete the secure code, so we'll change back from 1 to 8, which is the default code, the two lights will only flash white. So here I'm in normal dynamic repeat, so the private group. If instead I change to public, as I showed you before, we have white and green light. So if we see the same light, we know we're in the same group. What we don't know, however, is if we have the same ID. Either we can check the ID on the app, or by briefly clicking on the plus and minus keys. A voice prompt will remind us of the mode setting and the mesh ID we're using. Once I've completed all Bluetooth pairings to other intercoms and devices, and set up and configured mesh, I'm ready to start using my Midland Rush RCF. The Rush RCF interface consists of 3 modes: phone mode, intercom mode, and finally FM radio mode. To change modes, with the intercom switched on, just hold down the control key and I'll hear the device cycle through FM radio, phone, and intercom modes. When I'm in phone mode, my buttons only send phone commands. For example, if I click on the middle button, I select play on my selected music app. Then if I click the up key or the down key, I can move to the previous or next track. I pause the music by clicking again on the control key. When the music is paused, if I click on the up key, I activate voice call on the smartphone. In this case, I have an Android phone, so I have Google Assistant. I can ask Google to start a voice call to someone listed in my address book, to take me to a specific address through the Google Maps app, or to start playing music through my preferred app. If I change modes by pressing the central button for 3 seconds to the other mode, the intercom mode, my buttons will no longer send commands to the phone. Instead, they'll let me communicate with the other intercoms. Here, for example, with one click I can turn on mesh. I'm in dynamic repeat, and if another intercom has mesh turned on in dynamic repeat, and we have different IDs, we're already communicating. Or if I want to communicate with an intercom in intercom mode, obviously I need to have previously paired it. I click on the pairing button and I start intercom communication with this intercom. Another click on this button and I turn off intercom communication. The third and last mode is FM radio. In this mode, my button commands are: if I click on the middle button, I turn on or off the FM radio. When the FM radio is on, with a click on the up key or down key, I can search for stations on FM that have a strong signal. Alternatively, by holding the up key for 3 seconds or the down key for 3 seconds, I can scroll between 6 previously memorized channels. With Rush RCF, I have the option to have the following open in the background of my mesh communication: music, FM radio, sat-nav apps like Google Maps, directions from a sat-nav, and thanks to the audio bridge function, I can include in the mesh group a Bluetooth intercom with the person sitting behind me, meaning a passenger. Now let's imagine we're a rider and passenger, and we want to share the same music and also speak via mesh. We'll start with the pairing procedure. With the device switched off, I enter setup mode on both intercoms. I pair the two intercoms to the down key, meaning the main pairing. They're paired. Now on the first intercom, which we'll pretend is the rider's one, I'll pair it with his phone, Midland Rush RCF. I confirm pairing. I select Confirm again for the phone request. And I go ahead and open the Midland Connect app. On the intercom, which we're pretending is the passenger's, we go through the same procedure for primary pairing to a device to pair the passenger's phone. Midland Rush RCF. Pair. I open Midland Connect also on the passenger's phone. On both phones, I enter configuration mode. I can set the language to Italian. I tap the gear icon, Mesh Settings. I make sure I'm in the same private group. I have two different IDs, and in this case I don't, so I'll change the ID on one. ID 1 and ID 2. Private group, mesh is configured. Now, with the rider's phone, or the phone of the person with whom you want to share music, I'll make sure I'm in phone mode. Once in phone mode, and after selecting the music app, I'll click on the control key to play the music. And by holding the down button for 3 seconds, I'll hear the audio message sharing music. After a few seconds, my passenger's intercom will also start to receive the same music. And now, with both people listening to the same music, I just need to turn on mesh on both intercoms. In phone mode, I'll double-click, and also on the other intercom that's in phone mode, I'll double-click, to activate mesh communication. Now both users are listening to the same music, and at the same time they're communicating via mesh. Just set the music to a volume that allows you to talk at the same time.